Hey everybody. Today I just wanted to talk about how important your thoughts are, specifically in shaping your day-to-day life and attracting the people you want, the situations and scenarios that you want in your life. So as we all know, every single day thousands of thoughts circulate through your mind. I think it's somewhere between 10,000 to 60,000. So you have a lot of thoughts that are circulating in your mind. You want to make sure that these thoughts aren't just completely random thoughts, which is the case for most people. You want them to be thoughts that will help you improve your life and the lives of the people around you. So, what I first wanted to talk about was positive and negative thoughts. So, specifically, the fact that both are actually really helpful to you. Positive thoughts, of course, they're good for you because they make you feel better about yourself and they make you feel like you're achieving something in life or doing something good in life. But negative thoughts are equally as good. It's like the opposite force that you need. Negative thoughts are really helpful, for example, in avoiding bad situations. So, for example, if you're in a conversation with somebody and you can feel that the energy is just not there, you get negative thoughts that basically say, hey, stop talking to this person. And basically, what that helps you with is avoiding awkward situations, not doing things that you don't want to do. So, it's important to note that both of these types of thoughts are absolutely essential. Anyways, with that understood, let's go on to how your thoughts control the environment. So, with that, I don't mean that when you think of something, it's going to go poof and appear out of thin air. We don't live in a fairy tale, so obviously that's not going to happen. But one thing that I do mean is that when you think certain thoughts, your environment will slowly start gradually shifting and changing around you. So you'll see the people around you changing, you'll see your actual living space changing. For example, it might be getting cleaner, you might be attracting nicer people into your life. The way you do this is simply by thinking different thoughts. So, what do I mean by thinking different thoughts? One thing that plenty of people struggle with, and I see this just everywhere on TV, on the news, just literally everywhere, is the victim mentality. So, even if you're justified in having the victim mentality, it's not helpful at all. It doesn't do anything for you. All it does is make you and others feel sorry for you, and it doesn't really help you get back on your feet. One thing that you should do instead is just take everything as being your fault. Even if something is completely out of your reach, it's still your fault. Just take everything as your fault. Be responsible for everything. Take responsibility for everything. Obviously, I don't mean going out into the world and saying, hey, I did this, even though you didn't do it. But mentally, just take responsibility of everything. As an example, if you're playing a sport and your teammate misses the goal, then you could just say, you know what, it was my fault. I shouldn't have passed the ball to that teammate. I should have scored the goal myself. Or I should have passed it to another teammate. Or I should have helped him score the goal better, for example, by blocking this player. Always take accountability, even if you don't think it's your fault. It's just something that will help you in life. Because if you look at the alternative, if you choose the victim mentality and you just say, hey, you should have scored the goal, you should have done this, you could have done that better, it doesn't improve anything. It doesn't help your teammate out, it doesn't help you out. All it does is start bad relations, and you haven't done, like I said, anything to help anybody out. Whereas when you take accountability, you start to think differently, you start to see different things, you start to become a problem solver instead of a problem creator. And in today's society, problem solvers are valued way more than problem creators. Problem creators don't really do anything, they usually just talk, whereas problem solvers actually solve problems. So, what that means is they perform action rather than stay inactive. So, when you start taking accountability for everything, you'll not only start seeing things differently, but you'll be acting differently. So, for example, you might want a cleaner environment. So, you'll start thinking, like, oh, it's my fault that my room is dirty, which it most likely is. And because of that, you'll say, oh, well, I want it clean. And how do I clean it? I gotta get up and put things away. So you'll actually start acting on your thoughts. It's just a matter of thinking the correct thoughts and giving it enough time. So consistently thinking those thoughts And once you've done it for a long enough time, you'll actually start performing the correct actions and steps to complete those thoughts. And so in this case, you'll have a clean room. And so the clean room is just literally your environment. So you're literally changing your environment with your thoughts. And this will also happen with people. You might want to be talking to some more mature people. So you'll be thinking like, oh, I want to talk to more mature people. Your mind will basically start problem solving. You'll basically say, okay, how do I start talking to more mature people? And what do more mature people want from me? And so you'll basically be changing as well as your surroundings. Let me just reiterate that the most important thing here is thinking the correct thoughts and thinking them consistently. So you don't want to just think of these thoughts once and never think of them again. You want to be thinking of them constantly on a daily basis, so as much as possible. And that way your mind will be focused on those specific thoughts because, as I said before, thousands of thoughts enter your mind each day, and you want most of those thousands of thoughts to be thoughts that you want in your mind. So, for example, attracting better friends and things like that. If you're not controlling your thoughts and instead just letting random thoughts flow into your head, then obviously you're not controlling yourself. You're being controlled by your environment. Because what else puts thoughts into your brain? Your environment, your friends, your room, everything that's around you. You basically look around and your mind will make up thoughts about whatever it sees. It's kind of similar to what Malcolm X once said: if you don't stand for something, then you'll fall for anything. So if you don't focus your mind on something, then your mind will be focused on anything. And being focused on anything is usually not a good thing. One thing that plenty of people do in today's world is just endlessly scroll on TikTok and Instagram. And in that case, their minds are focused on things that are probably not helpful for them. So they're focused on random videos that are probably advertising products or just random things that aren't really helpful for your daily life. And what that basically does is it lets these influencers control what they think, and they basically spend money on things they don't need and think thoughts that they don't need. Basically, it doesn't do anything good for anybody except the people that are obviously sending you these thoughts. If you're basically not thinking for yourself, you're thinking for somebody else and you're helping somebody else. It's not necessarily a bad thing to help somebody else, but usually you want to be focusing on yourself and your family. So that's not to say don't listen to anybody. Obviously, you guys are listening to me, and there are plenty of other people that might be giving helpful advice for you, but just make sure you have your own interests at hand first and just see what other people's thoughts have in relation to your interests. So if they're saying, oh, you should buy this product, why should I buy this product? Is it going to help me in any way? Or are you just saying this to make some money off of me? If you have that mindset, you'll probably be a lot better off than most people in life. And I just wanted to go back to something really important, which is endlessly scrolling on social media apps and why it's especially crucial that you don't do that. Every time you do that, you're basically distracting yourself and opening up your mind for thoughts that you don't need. As I said before, you don't want to be going on Instagram and being influenced by some random guy to just buy something or go somewhere or do something that you really don't need to be doing. All that really does is waste your time, and it distracts you from your true purpose, and it really doesn't help in any way. Since you're not focused on what you really want, you aren't going to be getting the results you want, and what that could do is just put you in through a spiral, a never-ending spiral, where you're basically looking at your life, you're not happy with it, so you go back to social media and you scroll through it, and that doesn't help. And then you look at your life again, and it just got worse because you haven't been doing anything, you haven't been thinking your own thoughts, you haven't been helping yourself, and it just keeps going until nothing good happens. So just make sure you're not wasting too much of your time scrolling through Instagram and TikTok. So in order to start thinking good thoughts and helpful thoughts, What you should do first is think of something that you really want. It could be buying a new Lamborghini, getting a home, whatever you want. And once you've thought of something, you can start thinking about how to get that. If you want new friends, you can start thinking about what types of friends you want, where they might be hanging out. Just start thinking about how you would attract these people into your life. Also, think of yourself as already having these friends. It's a really helpful technique that will help you understand how to act properly to attract these certain things that you want. And by focusing these thoughts, I don't know what happens, but you basically send these thoughts over to the universe, and the universe basically sends you back help and hints on how to get these certain things. And you'll basically see after a long enough time that whatever you send out into the universe, you get back in terms of your thoughts and energy. So it's really important that you're focusing on, as I've said like 20 times in this video, on what you want. And once you've been doing this for a long enough time, you'll basically see yourself get into a flow state where you'll basically be working in tandem with the universe. I don't know how else to say it. At first, it might not seem like anything is going on or things might be going awry, but I promise you, after a long enough time, after a couple of years pass, you look back and you'll basically see how all of these pieces of a puzzle fit together and you'll be impressed. And I don't know how else to describe it other than the universe is working for you. Everything that happens will eventually align, and that's basically it. That's all I wanted to say today. All right, well, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.